Hey, help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also hit that like button to subscribe if you want more Cavs-focused content. I imagine some of you are taking a well-deserved reprieve from your feelings about the Cleveland Browns to now jump over to the Cavs burner, have some fun, talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have won their last two games after losing in the first game to the New York Knicks. Now, look, we all know that the focus of this season is just not going to be the record, right? Everybody is understanding of that. The Cavs chasing the big record, not really a part of the season that matters anymore, unless they get to something ridiculous like 70 wins, which probably is not happening, right? So for the Cavs, they're going to have to be willing this season to sacrifice some short-term success to find some long-term success. And as long as they're doing that, and that's why they're struggling, or that's why they're not looking great offensively, or whatever it is, that is a sacrifice I am willing to make with this team, and a sacrifice that I am willing to accept with this team, you know, as long as it takes, because we all know that the Cavs need to do something different in order to get over the hump this year in the playoffs. So they played two games, one against the Brooklyn Nets, the next game at home versus the Miami Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to talk about both games in this video, kind of go over what my thoughts were. I did get to watch both games. I didn't get to make a video after the Brooklyn game, but I did get to watch the Brooklyn game. Jared Allen was the standout in the Brooklyn game. I thought Jared Allen was really aggressive. It's one of those things that's a bit of a catch-22 because, yes, I love it when Jared Allen looks as good as he did against the Brooklyn Nets and when he's aggressive. There was one play, a couple of plays, where Jared got the ball and did this and then drove and then yammed on somebody. I was like, where the fuck this been, Jared Allen? Sorry about that. Hey, Paul. But really, like, Jared Allen was out there with a different intensity, a different level of aggression. And when you see that, there are some folks who go, yeah, that's right, Jared, show them. There are other folks who say to themselves, now, where this be at all the time, right? Now, again, I'm not expecting Jared Allen to get you 20 and 7 and 4 every night. If Jared Allen got you 27 and 4 on top of what the Cavs already have, we would have won 2 NBA finals by now. But that's not the kind of player he is. But you do expect not consistency with the point total, but consistency with the mindset. I think that's what people are frustrated with, right? Is the lack of consistency with the attacking mindset of Jared Allen. And every game, you're not going to have the mindset to go out there and score or dribble drive, right? If you're Jared Allen, but you do have the freedom, if you're Jared Allen, to be aggressive on the boards every night. You do have the freedom, if you're Jared Allen, to be aggressive defensively every night. And that's the kind of stuff that bothers Cavs fans that doesn't show up with Jared. But really good game for him, especially after a weak start versus the New York Knicks. I know Twitter gets on Jared Allen, man. He's a good player. He's a good player. He's just one of them players that's easy to get mad at, right? Like he kind of the Tobias Harris of our team, if we keep it in a buck. Right? Tobias Harris is always good enough to justify keeping, but like always bad enough to be mad at. That's kind of where Jared Allen can sit sometimes. Evan, but he had a great game versus the Brooklyn Nets, and I think that should be lauded. Evan Mobley was it was an interesting game for Evan. And look, these are the growing pains I am willing to go through, right? And I know some people are going to say it shouldn't look this bad, and it wasn't as bad as I think some people made it out to be, but it's going to be uncomfortable, right? Like the growing pains, it's easy to say that we're okay with it. You know what I mean? I'm living through this with the Browns right now, where That at a certain point, people acknowledge that, hey, the Browns might not win a ton of games. The Browns might decide at some point to go and tank with the quarterback or something like that. And it's one thing to acknowledge the idea of that being a possibility. It's another thing to live through it, right? It's going to be a similar experience when we're talking about the growing pains of Evan Mobley and this offense overall, where it's going to be one thing to talk about it, but living through it. That's the difficult part, right? Because you're going to have all these urges to be reactionary and to stop and go back to what worked, but you got to get through the growing pains, right? This was one of those games where you're just going to go through the growing pains. He turned the ball over a ton. He wasn't efficient from the floor, 5 of 12, 1 of 4 from 3, only made 2 of his free throws. So not a great game for Evan Mobley. It is now interesting, like not a great game for Evan Mobley, still like almost a double-double. It's like 13 and 8. It's one of the worst games he's had. But that's the life of Evan Mobley now. It didn't matter at the end of the day because Donovan Mitchell was fantastic in this game, 60% from 3, 10 of 15 from the floor, plus 22 and plus minus, 35 points in this game, 5 assists. Donovan Mitchell, and I think I saw Tony Pesta tweet about this, and I thought he was on point. It's like, yes, we want Evan Mobley to be more aggressive, but also we have to appreciate that Donovan Mitchell is a all-NBA caliber player, and he's still in his prime, right? Like you're just not going to push him to the side to let Evan Mobley take over in the fourth quarter. Like Evan Mobley is going to be a part of keeping the offense going in the fourth quarter. But it's not going to be like, oh, yeah, now that we got Evan, like, get Donovan out of here in the fourth quarter. And it's tough, right? Because the Cavs have 3 guys who legitimately deserve to get shots in the fourth quarter. And they got to find a way to work them all in and make it work. But, that's what the job is. That's why Kenny Atkinson, gets paid the big bucks. Larry Nance, I thought he was fun in his minutes. I like the Larry Nance minutes so far. Dean Wade, 1 of 6 from 3. Dean Wade. I desperately don't want to be a Dean Wade hater. I really don't want to be a Dean Wade hater. I want to be a Dean Wade fan, right? Like, I want to root for Mr. Dean Wade. But Dean Wade is making this very fucking hard. So, Lakers. Dean Wade is making it extremely hard to be a Dean Wade fan right now. Again, I want to support Dean Wade. I want to be out there, doing one of my victory laps about Dean Wade at some point. But boy, do Dean Wade be making that hard, because he don't just be 1 for 6 from 3. Dean Wade be 1 for 6 from 3, and then you look at all 6 of those 3-pointers, and they're all fucking wide open. Sorry. Another one for the Kurt Star. But yeah, they're all wide open, man. Like Dean Wade be wide open. And he be bricking every wide open 3 he shoots. It drives me crazy. Jalen Tyson, I don't know what to do with Jalen Tyson, man, because he's starting to make his threes. He was 2 for 3. I think he made a couple of threes today too. So like, on one hand, that's progress. On the other hand, defensively, he's a problem. He's way too aggressive. He's way too handsy. He's not getting the reward that you would want to. He had 3 steals against Brooklyn, so I guess he's doing something. And like, for as aggressive as he is on the boards, he doesn't bring in a ton of rebounds. He ain't figured it out yet. Like, I think the Cavs are trying him out of the role, and maybe this is growing pains as well, but he clearly has not figured it out. But that's just where we are with him. Lonzo Ball minutes were fun. Up until this last game versus the Milwaukee Bucks, his stat line hasn't really matched his production for the team. The jumper started falling today for Lonzo, but yeah, in the game versus Brooklyn, he only had 2 points. Craig Porter Jr. was excellent against Brooklyn as well. And then Tyrese Proctor played 12 minutes, didn't score. That's unfortunate for Tyrese Proctor. All right, Cavs game versus the Milwaukee Bucks. These games are pretty similar. The Cavs got out to a big lead in the Brooklyn game. Same thing happened against Milwaukee. They get up to a 15-point lead. I think against the Nets, it was like a 20-plus point lead. And then they kind of blow that lead in the fourth quarter. Whatever is going on defensively with this team the last couple of, like, I would say not calendar year, but the last like 9 months is so extremely strange. Like, they have just become a bad defensive team. And this used to be the best defensive team by a significant margin in the NBA. Now, maybe some of this is just early season stuff, so I don't want to freak out too much. But the defense, like the help defense, it bothers me watching their help defense for whatever reason. I don't know the technical reasons why this defense isn't working, but it does feel like we leave a lot of wide open threes. Some of that's because we're taking like bad shots and we're turning the ball over a lot on offense, or we go through these spurts where they start to turn over the ball a ton on offense. And then that turns into easy points for another team. I think another part of it is the rebounding, right? Like, we're not a great rebounding team. And that's not been the case at the beginning of the season here. So that turns into second opportunities. Those second opportunities, because we're sometimes so aggressive to help, turns into open threes for players who really shouldn't be getting open threes. I don't know what the technical reason is for it, right? Like maybe B-ball breakdown, or Tony Pass to do a film breakdown to tell y'all that I'm not that guy. I got a lot to learn to be that guy. But when I watch him, it feels like the help defense and like a combination of bad rebounding is creating these problems on defense. But yeah, it keeps happening. The Cavs continue to be a magnet for like 3-point shooters shooting their best days against the Cavs. And again, it can't be a coincidence at this point. We've been talking about it for like 4 years. So yeah, that's a problem. The defense, I would be concerned about that. That was strange, right? The Cavs gave up 28 points in the third quarter. It felt like we gave so much more points, maybe because we didn't score any. But yeah, that felt strange, right? Like the defense, all 3 games, it has not been what the Cavs wanted it to be. It's not what we recognize as the Cavs. Now, Cavs did get Deandre Hunter back in this game. I thought that made a little bit of a difference there. Deandre Hunter, pretty good in this game. 6 of 13 from the floor. Really aggressive, trying to get his own shot in the paint, right? Like, he took 13 shots. Only 4 of them were threes. I think last year he was just taking all threes for the most part, and maybe like a couple of dribble drives here and there. But he was really aggressive, a part of the offense. Liked how he looked out there. 4 rebounds, 16 points, 2 assists. Jarrett Allen wasn't really that useful today. Had 11 rebounds, though, so never going to be mad at that. Evan Mobley had an interesting day because from the floor, Evan was butt cheeks today. I'm sorry, that's a bit crass and extreme. He wasn't butt cheeks, but he wasn't good from the floor. What I did like about his approach from the floor for Evan was that he was really picking and choosing his spots a lot better. Like he was really determined on where he wanted to find his spots in his matchup against Giannis. And you can see him, he's developing a couple spots that he likes to go to. So like that elbow jumper, right? Like he really likes that elbow jumper. It seems to be something that he can develop, right? But he went to that a couple of times. I think he's doing a better job with his shot selection. His shots just didn't fall today. But what he did do, and because I think his shot selection was so good today, he got to the foul line a ton. Now, some of this was, he had 4 free throw attempts at the end of the game, but still before that, he had 8 foul shots. So he went to the line 4 times. That's what I like to see. He didn't do anything from 3 today. He was 20% from 3, but 23 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists in the game where Evan Mobley wasn't all that amazing offensively. I mean, that's great, right? You get 23 points on an off night, you're a good player. So that's good from him. And what I thought was the most encouraging thing from this game is that the Cavs were able to beat a team like Milwaukee, who got a 40-point game from their superstar in Giannis, and then a standout 20-point game from AJ Green, who got 20 for him, right? Like, they were able to withstand that without requiring Donovan Mitchell to go band for band with Giannis, right? Like, Donovan Mitchell didn't need to get 40. Donovan Mitchell went 9 of 20 today, 24 points, and they were still able to win this game relatively comfortable. Sam Merrill got to give Sam Merrill his flowers. He said 17 in this game. I think he had like 20 something in the Nets game. Let me double check that. Right. Yeah, he had 22 in the Nets game. And then against New York, he had 19. There were a lot of questions about Sam Merrill and him getting the contract that Ty Jerome didn't, and what that means and what his fit's going to be. So far, he's averaging 20. He's shooting 54% from the floor. Obviously, it's not what he's going to end the season at, but it is a good sign and a step in the right direction that Sam Merrill, especially in a situation where you got guys out and you need some offense, he's giving you some offense, right? 4 of 9 from 3 today. He was 6 of 10 against the Brooklyn Nets. He's been doing great work for the Cavs and being very productive for them. Larry Nance, I don't know how he was in the minus today, but he was -1. I liked the Larry Nance minutes from watching them. I don't know what he's doing. Like, I don't know if he's selling defensively. Like, I got to watch him closer there. But offensively, I think his gravity from him being able to make threes does a lot for the offense, and his awareness on offense is really useful. Lonzo Ball was spectacular today. I don't know if the stat sheet's going to show it because he was only 2 of 4 from 3, 4 of 7 with 11 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. But man, like every time this team needed a spark, it was Lonzo Ball doing it. I think that's an underrated part of Lonzo Ball's game, right? Like, he can serve to kind of be the guy off the bench who maybe he doesn't give you a spark because he makes 3 threes, but he gets you a spark because he's just making good team plays. And in a system like the Cavs have, I think that's really, really useful, right? Somebody who can hustle real quick and get a rebound, right? That nobody's in the lane for. He shoots the lane. He has that really good basketball IQ, right? Or he can find somebody open for an open shot or an open lane to a dunk, or he gets a steal. Like, his game is jam-packed with ways to make energy plays without being like a dynamic offensive player. So he just has so many ways to create energy on offense. And I thought there were a couple of times where it looked like the Cavs, they were about to hit a wall, and Lonzo just came off the bench and just gave you energy plays. I think that's really useful. That's another reason why I like Larry Nance's minutes too, because he gives you energy plays as well. Now, how useful is that going to be in the regular season? I don't know, but in the postseason, we know that can be really useful to break, some runs, right? Because that's what happened to the Cavs. They got beaten down in these runs. They had no way to break them. Guy like Lonzo can walk in there and do a couple of things to just kill a run real quick. And that's the most useful thing Lonzo really brought to the table today. Jalen Tyson, wasn't a good night for Jalen Tyson, Craig Porter. So these two Cavs game, again, it's early. The Cavs are 2-1. Everybody kind of expected the Cavs to be 2-1. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks at home. Milwaukee coming in here with Miles Turner, right? No Kyle Kuzma for them, but still, relatively healthy Milwaukee Bucks team. Cavs don't have Darius Garland. So it's a nice showing. They were never really in threat in this game, obviously, but still would like to be tighter defensively. DeAndre Hunter, it's obvious how helpful he's going to be to this team. Getting Darius back, getting Max Strus back is going to be even more helpful. It's going to be interesting to see what that lineup looks like once you get those two guys back, right? Because what happens with Larry Nance? I think he should get some minutes. Obviously, Lonzo should get minutes, right? Maybe that just means less minutes for, obviously it means less minutes for Craig Porter Jr., who's been decent so far. And then Jalen Tyson, does it mean less minutes for Dean Wade? Also, does Tyrese Proctor start to get some real NBA minutes at some point? He was a DNP today, coach's decision. But that'd be interesting to see. But that's the Cavs' last 2 games, getting caught back up. Let's have some happy, right? I know some of y'all just came from the Browns channel. Y'all a little mad, disappointed with the season. Let's go ahead and talk about 2 wins, 2 dubs. But that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.